Me, hapana zvisingagoneke nemi. Ndimi murapi mukuru anoporesa. Ndimi murapi mukuru anoporesa Mwari. Hapana zvisingagoneke nemi. Hapana nekanemi Jesu. Ndimi murapi mukuru anoporesa. Ndimi murapi mukuru anoporesa Mwari. Pora iwe muzita la Jesu.
Good morning, everyone. Today is the 31st of December 2023. It's the last day of the year, and this is the 6th video of my testimony to the glory of God for the time that I was in an accident since the 13th of June to date. And today we're going to be talking about home. The reason why I made home a specific topic, it's because it was a whole different era during this time where I had to experience a different type of care and different levels of attention and different challenges altogether. And I just thought how maybe it is important to do that, to be able to talk about it and also thank God about it. So I came out of the hospital on the 19th. Earlier before that, when I was still in the hospital, I decided to go home so much because the hospital environment was not a place where I was able to sleep. Like at some point I just had to make do with what was there, but it was not comfortable. Not in that they didn't spread the bed or they didn't tell me, well, no, just knowing that I'm in a hospital. And Dandaro is a place where there are older people, very old. It's actually have a home for older people. So almost every night there's some elderly person getting into the hospital, and most of the times in the morning there's someone passing away, or at night or in the middle of the night. So that atmosphere of people dying, coming in old age and all that, hearing machines going on and on throughout the night was really disturbing mentally. So I really wanted to come home. I didn't care in what state I would come back home in. I just wanted to be home, like immediately. So I remember one time when I started physio and the doctor was saying, if you continue with this progress, by the end of the week, you're going to be going home. I said to myself, this progress should continue. That's the same week that I had a physiotherapist on a Monday who came and then walked with me from the bed to the nurse station, and my legs woke up swollen the next day, and I knew I was going to go for another 2 weeks plus in the hospital. It was really demoralizing because already I was showing signs of going home, and then at that moment the doctor said, you're stopping physio, we're starting to do other tests. And I just felt like, what if the moment when it gets better, something else is going to be discovered and the cycle goes on? So I said to myself, it's fine. So for now, this is where I am staying. I have to make most of it. Then I asked myself, what really is home? At that moment, I remember, even before that incident of the leg, I was starting to gain acquaintance with nurse aides and the nurses, because I think I was the youngest person at that time who was in the hospital, besides the walk-ins and day-to-day clients who would come in at Nandaro. So most of the time, when someone is on duty, they'll definitely come into my room and we'll talk, and they would, just give a balance between the time I wake up and the time I get to see my family. And to me, I was like, that's very kind of them, because it is very important for you to find some level of distraction, especially when you are alone most of the time, because you can try as much, depending on your mental strength, to remain sane and not think or meditate upon certain things. But distraction is, whether by means of a person or something, an activity, it will help you to deter your mind or your meditations on things that would actually make you worse, or like would derail your progress. So when I was preparing this, I thought about why home and what is home. I think home really is not only about where your family is, or where your loved ones are, or where you grew up, or what. Home is a place where you find energy, you find rejuvenation. And at some point, I had made that decision and said, you know what if I stay in this hospital for another 6 months? I have to start making this place a home. I have to start knowing the angles that make me feel happy and comfortable, because I don't know when I'll be going home. I remember making this joke with my dad one day and said, if I get to leave this place by mistake, like let's say I'm doing physio and then I walk up to the door, I'm not coming back in this room, because who knows, maybe on my way back I might fall and then my legs will be broken, and then I will stay here again forever. No, you'll find me in the parking lot there waiting for you to collect the things inside. Why? Because I had a craving for um, you know, just being in a place where there are no machines ringing in my head, knowing, oh, this one is the heart pulse machine, this one is this one is this machine, this one is this machine, and ringing the bells and all that. It became a real challenge, and what I just wanted at that moment was to um to be in a different place. I just wanted it to be different. I'm sure if I had heard a different place, in the sense that it was a different hospital, I was going to appreciate that. Why? Because I had I really wanted to change the environment that I was staying in. So moving on, I would want to talk about the disadvantages of coming back home. The disadvantages of coming back home is that, remember, you are working towards a certain routine for 2.5 months, and you are coming home. The first thing is, everyone feels like you are fragile, you might break, you cannot handle yourself. Everyone is feeling that responsibility, and there is a pressure of the availability of people, and yet you are used to just getting your space. Because one thing that Standard did was give you space. It would give you space. You'd wake up in the morning around 4 a.m. They'll be already bathing you, giving you the bed, dry bath and stuff. And then around 5, 6, you always be alone until the the physio comes in, and then you get an injection. They would come into to mostly, and I was getting a lot of injections and medication, so they will most frequently be getting in and out of my room. But there was always some hours in between, and those hours, if I had not been injected pethidine or any other strong drug, I'd be wide awake. And if I don't tend to the music, if I don't tend to the audiobooks, I'll just be staring at the ceiling. The room that I had in Dandaro had a TV. I didn't watch that TV. Even when it was on, I did not find myself watch. Not that I don't like TV or I don't appreciate movies and stuff, but it's because every time I looked at the TV, my mind would just escape from the room, and I would have other things to think about. So coming home now, you were coming to, of course I came home before I could be able to walk. So I was immobile most up until around end of September, getting into October. I was immobile. So even when I started physio from home, I was just doing the stretches, the leg stretches, and they said they are called the bed workouts, the workouts that you do while you're just sleeping on the bed. So those are the ones that I would do. And then after the bed workouts, you would then improve day by day. But one of the disadvantages that I felt was the change. Like, people don't know that you need to adjust from having a certain routine that you're having every single day for more than 2 months. And then you wake up one day, everyone is there, everyone is coming in the middle of the night at whatever time. How are you feeling? Good morning. Where are you going? What are you doing? Everyone is asking, is checking on you frequently, calls coming in. You came out of hospital. Are you home? What time do you wake up? What time do you sleep? Can I come and see you now? And just handling, it's a whole lot of pressure all on its own, because already your body is tired, your body is challenged, and you don't know how best you can handle it. So you are dealing with hi, how are you? What are you doing right now? Where are you going? You are answering all those questions. At the same time, you are trying to say, okay, I'm no longer in the hospital now. I'm home. There is no visiting hour. There is no, if it's time to eat, it's time to eat. Although I had a special time of my own, since I was still failing to sleep at night. So in the morning, after I bathed and I did physio, I would then sleep afterwards. That's how it has been for a very long time. So home, the other disadvantage was, of course, there is no time that is not a visiting time. Others didn't, they would not call before they come, so they would just arrive. And there was need to honor, that visit by waking up and attending to them, answering their questions and appreciating their visit. And maybe that's the only time I get to sleep, and my body is already aching at that moment, and you're asking yourself, is this going to be like this again tomorrow? Do I need to get used to this? And of course, those are the people who would always come, and then they'll take you back, because remember, at this time you are trying by all means not to pull yourself back, not to regress. You're trying to have this mental strength of saying, when someone comes in with a suggestion or tries to ask you something that would pull you back, you will have to be able to resist and say something that would not, continue to give you the terror. Because the terrors are there, the trauma is real. The pictures of the pains, the extreme pains, the flashbacks of the incident and everything, they are real. The times when maybe you'd lose your mind, and they are real, they are there. So when someone comes in and they start asking you that, and maybe that person is your 20th visitor in a day, and it's like you're repeating the same question. I remember making a joke with my friends and saying, you know what, guys, I think I should just record like most frequently asked questions and then I would answer them, so that I don't be repeating myself 20 times in a day, and yeah, that was the time people would come, would maybe then disturb my sleeping time, because the moment it gets to around 5-6, I can't sleep. PM, I can't sleep. I'm restless, and I'm probably having seizures, and they make you dysfunctional and stuff, and then you are restless, and everyone goes to sleep, although they were looking after you during the day. They are sleeping, you're now alone, you're back again to the audios, music, and everything like that. And the calls, I remember I told you I was having some prayers early in the morning, early later in the night, into the next day. I was having people calling me and would pray and would talk. They tried by all means to keep me busy. But then you're now home, and that person calls. You've been talking to that person for the longest time, and they call, and there are 14 other people coming in, people other in the dining waiting to see you, and others sitting by your bed, and that does not live in your bed at all. So there is that pressure of people surrounding you, and you need to be able to know how to handle the pressure of adjusting from being in a hospital at an adjustable bed to being at home at a double bed, and you need pillows. You need to be able to say it's enough, or please help me up, because at that time I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit. So people had to help me to sit up, put me down and, tend me, bath me in bed, and use the bedpan and all those things. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? uh when you're home, you should learn to draw your lines and trust yourself. I want to go up to this extent. I want to be able to learn how to do this slowly, not in a harsh way. No one is chasing you really, but slowly learning things and trusting yourself to get better. Continuously speaking to yourself and reminding yourself that it's not going to happen in one day. Because I'm telling you, like what I said in the other video, you wake up today, someone does not feel like helping you in that day, but they are helping you because they feel like no one else will do it, so they're just doing it. They're not in the mood. Sometimes they have other issues of their life that maybe are posing some, you know, mental something, and they're just there, So you need to deal with that. Besides you having your own small periods of focus, you need to deal with their feelings that day. You need to deal with your feelings that day because you're the one who needs the help. So you don't need to confront and say, no, I'm the sick person, I'm feeling this way today, so everybody, it's time to feel this way. So that you can help me. I remember it pushed me so much. I couldn't wait. I remember crying some other time and saying, Wari, I want to be able to go to the toilet by myself. I want to be able to go to the toilet by myself. I want to be able to go to the... Because I remember one day I woke up and I was really low. My body that day woke up and it was not cooperating with me. It was not cooperating with me. And I remember I wanted a bedpan so bad, and like my voice was not even very loud. So I kept on calling. And then the person said, they're coming. They were doing something else. Then I was like, if I was able to just stand up and just go, there was no need for me to go somewhere. When is this day coming, God? I want this day yesterday. I wanted last year. When is this day coming? But then coming home, then really highlighted the things that I couldn't do. Besides having all the attention and help that I had when I was home, I discovered that I really needed to mentally arrange my mind and accept the help that I'm having and prepare myself to learn a lot of things, because this was now learning from zero, learning how to bend my knees, learning how to step on the floor. All those are learning, 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 learning. Be nice to yourself. Some days were depressing. I'll tell you, being home was good. I mean, I was, eating whatever I want. Not that I did not have but I had some degree of comfort because I was thinking in my head, every day people are waking up, doing whatever they're doing, thinking that by 4 everyone should be done, so they'll be set driving, going to Landaro. And my sister specifically, my Tadiwa, she left everything. She left her life and the things that she was pursuing and was looking after me every day. In the morning she would be there in the hospital and wait. Even if it was not visiting time, you then start preparing the payments and stuff and wait until the visiting time around 5, if she's not allowed to come in between, and then see me around that time. So coming home, I was like, this is a sign that I can let people go. I can let them go back into their lives, and I should also slowly start to get used to not having that attention. But I come home and I'm getting butternuts and sausages and what I started gaining, because when I was in hospital, because of the drugs and everything, I started to get small, and I was not eating properly, not appetite, and also I was still learning to swallow. So I started eating, I started eating, getting fed, eating rice, having special meals, having that lunchbox for the baby. Did you remember to remove the soup for the child? Child. So yeah, it has been good. What also I wanted to talk about the home is conducive environment. Landero was quiet. um, and it was just you in that room. And coming home, I know people would have to watch over me at night. And I had to learn to cry, quietly, so that they don't wake up and say, "Why are you crying? Is there any pain?" I started having violent seizures when I came home. And I saw its toll on my family because one time I had them during the day. I don't know what had happened the time, but they started changing like the time, but they usually would happen around 1 a.m. But this day they happened like around 6, I think, 6 p.m. I started, having shocks. And then my hands started clawing, my legs started clawing, and my sister came in and called my dad. She called my dad. She called my mom. I was around my brothers and sisters. Someone's holding my hand. Someone's holding my legs. Someone is, it has never happened here, and people didn't even know how to handle it. Yeah, I didn't even know. When it happened at night, it was not as violent as it was happening during the day. It was just so dramatic. But then at that time, all I was thinking about was my life. Whether it was dramatic, I was just like, when this happens, do I survive? Because at night, usually when it happened, I would survive. And I would just feel the shocks. Like there were episodes like 5 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 10 minutes, or 8 or 6 minutes on, until they just die out. And this day, it was just continuous, and it was dramatic. So they called my neurosurgeon, and he was like, "You need to buy this medication immediately so that we suppress them because they are fatal, they're life threatening." Because my tongue would then start going back. I start choking on my tongue. And what do you do when someone is choking on their tongue and their jaws are hard, and you don't even know whether they're chewing the tongue, biting themselves. But anyway, what I would want to talk about being home is you should be able to command the environment that you want, because now everyone has access to you. All those who would say they don't have money to travel to come and see you, or they are busy with work, they can come after work and see you. There are no more restrictions. The most important thing about home is being able to command the environment. If you are heavy, if yet enough, be able to say no. I think my span of concentration, my span of being tolerant to people is enough for today. I think maybe let me see them again tomorrow if it's possible, because it doesn't work when they come in. They know you can talk, but you are so exhausted. You can't even say hi. You can't even say bye. You are just exhausted totally. You can't even say anything. So to me, I thought, no, I should learn to say no, I can't. So people would come sometime, and then my sister would say she's sleeping, but I'll tell her, right now, I don't think I can handle anything, especially when it's after physio. You know that you cannot handle any other pressure and you'd need to rest. But then, someone else would come in with the example. I also did physio. Yeah, I would do it for an hour and then I would sleep. I also did this, but then it's never the same. The story is never the same. So you need to be able to respect yourself and respect your time and command your environment. That way you'll be able to recover and have a better outcome of what you're feeling and what you know is best for you, besides all the other things that you'll be having around you. And your mentality on that does matter, because someone can come and they can start counting on the things that, but you're having this, but you're doing this, and maybe it's not giving the result. I remember the first day that I started walking with the walker, it was the 12th of October. And I remember I was going to the doctor's review and I had to leave the room and then, get into the car. So before that, we were practicing in the room with my physiotherapist on how to move from the bed to go the other side of the room and then open the door. It was a very overwhelming day for me that day, but then I told him, don't leave until I get into the car, because I know my family members. I know, the kind of. As soon as I left the room, my dad was like, walk. Is that walking? Move. We want to go. I was like, you see, I'm I was not. If you had left me here, I would be dead right now, because just feel like just because I can move the walker, I can fly, you know. I believe I can fly, yeah, but not now. Because at that moment I'd learned that as much as I want to walk, it's not going to happen overnight. I'm not just going to start skidding and riding, and it was going to take long. So I kept on telling him, don't leave me until I'm in the car. What was it? You know, they were taking videos, and I was like, no, there's no need for you guys to take videos. These moments are really emotional for me. I'm going to, and I cried the whole time. I was crying and crying. But because they did not know how long it took me just to stand up. Because most of the time, the only time I would stand is when the physiotherapist was there. And just waking up and start skidding, that was not a possibility. So at the end of the day, what I would want you guys to learn from this is you have the strength and the ability to be able to command your environment for it to work for you, because it's not every day that everyone will be flowing in the same river or being in the same boat with you. And sometimes being able to know what you want and vocalizing that is very important. Having a mentality of recovery, knowing, this is where I am now, whether it's working or it's not working, whether it's moving according to my plan or not. This is where I am now, so I have to deal with it and make it work. It's very important, because no one is going to nurse you into changing your routines. No one is going to nurse you into trying to adjust to what you're having and fitting and ticking all the boxes for you. You need to be mentally strong and be able to have a conversation with yourself and convince yourself to go to the next level of what you need to do. So I hope this helps you, and you remember that all glory goes back to God. After all has been said and done, even when you feel like you're alone, He is never away from you. He is always present. Remember, the Bible says He is closest to the brokenhearted. He is closer to those who feel like they are alone, because He's a needy, very present help in need. Very present help in need. So have a good morning and enjoy.